You guys sit here. Like over his ears. Yeah. We have a yeah, they said they're selling out. We're gonna buy a cash today, $70,000. The first house. Yeah, perfect. And then you can like, oh, just get. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're okay. You look so cool with your hair long. Hey, Lucy, how you doing? Are you ready? Yeah. She's normally a football ground, so time off. She has to go a certain way. Come look. The other day, Nate was trying to and she said, I love him. And Zach's like, no, you don't. No voice ever. He knows not what she says. She thinks you're okay.
What's up, bro? Thank you. Nice shirt, Cohen. A dollar short, a dime late, you know? How's your brother doing? What's the deal? Where's he at right now? Your brother? I saw a picture and it was just like a line of all centers. Like it's not in focus, like you just see him. And I knew exactly which one it was because he lays the ball directly flat on the ground every time he snaps.
I love this catch.
I like that fish. Is that
Everyone else rules.
Practice, he was throwing.
Listen,
No, Debo, listen, I've never. I was running on West Virginia. He goes snaps. Oh, man. I didn't know where yes.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Hey, 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 hey. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we'll get started here in just a moment. First off, I'd like to say hello to everyone in attendance today, and especially to our student athletes who are able to attend. I know your days are very, very busy, and it's important to be able to attend some really neat events like this when you're not in class, so thank you all so very much for being here. I'd also say a very special welcome to our mayor, Lee Wilkinson, and his wife, Susan. Thank you so much for making this part of your day today. Also, a big hello and thank you to our faculty and staff that are here, as well as our friends at Tiffin University who are able to be in attendance. Thank you all so very much. Today is a pretty important day, a very fun day. Everybody loves football, and football is a big part of our, who we are and what we are here at Tiffin University. And recently, a new man was named our Tiffin University head football coach, and we're going to introduce him here in just a few moments. But first, a couple other people we'd like to bring to the podium to begin. One of which is one of our favorite alums, Bobby Petrus. He's a football and track and field alum, 2002 defensive players, third in the country in tackles. Top it, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Bobby Petrus.
Well, thanks for having me, and congratulations, Coach. And, it's always an honor to be back here on campus anytime I get a chance to. And, I would just say that, for you guys, anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Bobby Petrus, and, I stood in this seat similar as a player way too long ago now. It's hard to believe that I'm an old person, but the one thing that I will tell you is that, Tiffin University has helped shape me into the man and person that I am today. And I really, truly would say that I wouldn't be who I am without Tiffin. I didn't start here, though. I actually started at Findlay, that other school that we don't like to talk about. So I really did choose, Tiffin University. And the program changed my life. As mentioned, I was, a pretty decent player. I was team captain back in 2002. Had a bunch of tackles because we were really bad defense. So it's pretty bad when your free safety leads your team in tackles. But, there I was. But, I'll be honest with you, the locker room's named after me. I don't say that as an ego thing. Like, I really, that really means a lot to me, because when I was here, like, that's where most of my memories come from. If I lay my head down on my pillow and I try to think of a tackle I had or an interception, I don't remember many of them. What I do remember is smacking my teammate's ass with a towel, or chasing them around, and, some of the stuff that we did in the dorms. And, one of the traditions that we used to have, and I'm sure you can't do this anymore, but the day before media day, all of the upperclassmen would call the freshmen into one of the dorms to say that we had a really important meeting. But what they didn't know is they had two choices, that you could either get your head shaved or your eyebrows shaved for picture day the next day. So not that I'm recommending that, but those are some of the things that I do remember. You're in a brotherhood, and, you're going to be locking arms and, going to battle with your brothers. And in short years from now, which is hard to believe, a lot of those guys will be standing at your side on your wedding. They'll be godfather to your kid. They'll be, coming over. You guys will be telling, old stories before you know it. And it's different than high school. In high school, you grew up with those guys. They were probably your friends since kindergarten. You're coming from all different parts of the country, and in some places the world, at this university. some of you don't have anything in common but football, and that's what's going to bring you together. I can remember vividly, I took 2 of my teammates to McDonald's, and I had a small Ford Ranger truck, and one of the kids turns to me and says, "This is the first time I've ever done that." I said, "Man, this is the first time you've ever been to McDonald's?" He said, "No, it's the first time I've ever been in a car with a white guy." And it just like hit me. I was like, we are different, but we're the same because we put on that uniform. I will say too, you know, you're representing a university that really does care about your growth, not just as a football player. They really do care about you on and off the field. And it's the foundation that's going to make you a man. And I just can't say enough that, you know, it's a great day to be a Dragon, and congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Bobby. Not only is Bobby a trustee at Tiffin University, but he is also going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame as part of the 2026 class. So congratulations on that as well, Bobby. Now it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage my boss. She's the Assistant Vice President for Athletics and the Director of Athletics at Tiffin University. Please welcome to the stage, Kelly Daniel.
All right, Russ has a couple inches on me. I'm shrinking in my age. I just want to say thank you for everyone that came. I know a couple of the players are in class, but thank you for coming. We're here today to celebrate a new journey. And after Coach Ekins left, he came in my office and he said, "Kelly, Coach Blair's ready." And when you build a succession plan, there's no time for a culture break. The foundation is laid, and I'm going to look to you guys. You guys are the roof. You put it on as high as you want. There's 11 games out there on that schedule. There's no need why there's not 16. Okay? We played the national champ, and we lost by 1 touchdown. You look at those 16 games, there was 3 schools that kept them within 7. And to say we're one is amazing. All right. So I know what is capable. I know our staff. This is Coach Ekins' words, not my words. We have the best staff in Division II that has been put together. And then Zack finished it by hiring the rest of you. And there's no reason we would dismantle that staff. So for each and every one of you, we sat in the room for an hour or 2 figuring out what's next. And for you guys to stay on that ship, keeping us rowing, is huge. So thank you for each and every one of you believing. The football team, I had a 20-minute meeting with some of the leaders on the team. It ended up being a 2-hour meeting. So we talked a lot. And when you have one heartbeat, it's unstoppable. And Coach Blair, I had a lot of calls. The job wasn't even posted. Got calls. "Hey, I got a guy. I got a guy." I couldn't say we already have a guy, but I can today. Coach Blair, we have our guy. Come on up.
How we doing? Man, I appreciate everybody being here. Right, it's been a heck of 8 weeks. I'll say that. And really, it was a heck of 3 days with the transition. Our administration handled it exactly the way it needed to be handled. Right, and that's a testament to their ability to understand the needs of the players, and those needs were met. Right, which is an awesome thing. Right, it's an awesome thing when you have continuity. But it's an awesome thing when that continuity and everyone is moving in the same direction, which is unique to Tiffin University. I'm humbled and I'm honored and I'm fired up to be a part of what we're doing here, to lead this program, to be the next head coach here. It has been nothing that I have ever dreamed more of than to lead this place, right? I was 29 years old when I accepted the job. I turned 30 a couple weeks after, so I am 30, Kelly. So I do have I got a little seasoning to me there, but I have been prepped and I have been groomed to be able to be the next head coach here. And I have 100% confidence in myself and our staff to be able to do that. I want to start off by just talking through some of the thank yous, right? So first and foremost, right, we have to understand the alignment piece from the top down, right? And our administration here is elite. The people here are incredible, right? Dr. Schumacher, Dr. Amy Wood, okay, AD, Kelly Daniel, right? Everything that went exactly to plan was exactly how it went, right? It happened exactly the way it needed to, right? And when you have a president who's aligned all the way down to your youngest player, that's when we're going to go do something special, right? That's when elite things will happen, right? Yes, you can have an aligned program, but when you have an aligned university and everyone is moving in the same direction, now you're talking about something really special. Now you're talking about going and playing 16 games, not just 11, right? And that's what we're going to do here during our time, okay? The thing I want to really reiterate here, okay, is degrees are earned and championships are won because of elite human beings, not because of resources, right? Yes, I hope President Schumacher is on this video and she hears me, but we need as many resources as possible, right? But that's not what is going to be the difference for us when we win a championship, right? It's going to be the human beings on this campus, right? And that's why I'm so excited to take this job, is because there are the right people in place to help us go win right now, right? We don't have to go get anybody else. There's no staff, there's no players. We have the people within this campus that we need to go win right now. You know, I think it's important to understand, right? You can have a beautiful cathedral, but if the right people aren't inside, they're just walls, right? You can have all the resources you want, but if the right people aren't in place, it doesn't matter. They're just walls, right? And at this place, we have elite people, which is what you need to win. Okay. Next, I'd love to thank our former head coach, Brett Atkins. Man, he's one of my biggest mentors, right? He's somebody that took me under his wing when I first got into coaching. You know, I started in, what year was it? 2020 during COVID. And he was the guy that took me under his wing and developed me into the coach that I am today, right? And seeing the way in which he led our program at this place, it's important to, one, recognize, but two, for our players to understand that that foundation is not going anywhere, right? Miss Kelly just talked about it. That foundation has been laid, and that foundation will be continued to be built upon, right? Because of our players, but because of his vision, right? And that's an important piece for every single person in this room to understand, right? Yes, I'm going to put my own flavor on it. I'm going to put my own seasoning on it, but the foundation that we've built here the last 2 years will remain. And I think that's important for every single person in this room to know, right? So I'll just give you guys a very brief process of how it kind of all went down. I think it's important for everyone to know, right? So Monday night at some point in February, gosh, I don't even know what the date was, right? Some point in February, Coach Atkins texted me at 8:30 p.m. And he said, hey, I need you in my office as soon as possible. And when you get that text in the offseason, you're sitting there like, what did I do wrong? I'm about to lose my job. I'm getting fired. I'm sitting there thinking through all the things that I could have potentially done, right? And my wife, Lauren, who's sitting up here in the front row, was in the same boat, right? She was worried. She's like, what did you do? And I'm like, I don't think I did anything. I don't know. We'll see, right? So I get into his office around 9 p.m. He gives me this funny look, and I'm like, is everything good? And he's like, yes, everything's fine. I'm like, okay, do you care if I text my wife and just tell her that, you know, I have a job still? And so he let me text her, and then we started talking, and he was like, well, I just got off FaceTime with the head coach with the Arizona Cardinals, and I accepted a position on their staff, right? I leave in 36 hours. And at that moment, one, I was so excited for him, right? Like, my friendship with him goes way beyond my working relationship with him, right? He's one of my closest friends. Like I said, one of my closest mentors. And for him to get an opportunity to go coach at the highest level was something that I was ecstatic about, right? For about 10 seconds. And then I recognized very quickly, I'm like, gosh, dang, we might not have a job here in 36 hours, right? And so in that moment, he asked me, he goes, do you want to be the next head coach here, right? And without a shadow of a doubt, right, with full confidence, I told him yes, right? I told him yes, of course, right? I'm ready to do this, right? I've watched you do it the right way, right? We want to continue to do it the right way. It's the best thing for this program, and we're going to do that, and we're going to move this thing in the right direction. So that was Monday night at 9:30 p.m., right? I got home at 10, and then I started going to work on a head coaching manual that I was going to present to Kelly and our president and Dr. Wood. And I don't think I slept a wink that night, to be completely honest with you. We had a run at 6 a.m. the next day, and I did not get an ounce of sleep. And it ended up being all the worthwhile, right? So I'm really appreciative of Coach Atkins and the things he's done. To our players, right, I am beyond appreciative for your guys' belief in me, right? It's very easy to sit here and look at me and say I'm 30 years old and I'm not ready to do this. Fellas, I'm ready to do this, right? We're going to go do it in the right way and in a special way. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your belief in me, your trust in me, right? And I can promise you, when we're fully aligned and we're all moving in the same direction, fellas, we're going to go do everything we want to. That's my daughter in the back. I'm sorry. To our alumni, right? This has been and always will be your program, right? This has been and always will be your guys' program, right? And I want to welcome all of our alumni at any point. Please come back and see us, right? Please be a part of what we are doing, right? I think it's important for those guys to know that I want to connect. I want to bring you back, and I want you to feel like you're as much a part of this thing as our players and our staff are, because ultimately our success is going to be because of you guys, right? The foundation you guys have laid through the years, right, is something that is really important for us to recognize as a current program, but also to invite those players back and for them to see what we have building, because I want every single alum to be proud of what we are building here at Tiffin. To the city of Tiffin, thank you so much for welcoming me and my family. It's been 2 years, and it's been an awesome 2 years. We've loved Tiffin. Tiffin has by far been our favorite stop. You know, and not that you have stiff competition, because it was Saginaw, Michigan, and it was the middle of nowhere, Indiana, but this place is special to us. Me and my wife are both from Ohio. We're about 2 hours away. This town reminds us a lot of where we grew up, right? And for us to raise our son and our daughter in this place has been very special, right? But again, the town is special because of the people, right? This university is special because of the people, right? And that's an ongoing theme as we kind of dive into what we're going to do here. Okay, the next thing I want to do, I want to bring my staff up. I just want you guys to kind of line up here in the front. Come on, fellas, with some hop. Let's go. I think it's important for everyone to see the staff that we've put together. And, you know, again, as we've gone through the hiring process, the most important piece, again, is finding elite human beings, right? Finding the right men to lead our program. So I just want to go down the line here, right? Introduce every single guy. And then when I call your name, you guys step forward and raise your hand quickly, okay? So Dan McEwen, he's our defensive coordinator, and he's our DB's coach. I worked with Dan at Saginaw Valley in 2023. Dan just got here in January. Our assistant head coach, special teams coordinator, linebackers coach is Dwight Jackson. He got here from McNeese about 14 months ago, and he has continually rose himself in this program as a huge asset. My center from college, our offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, Caleb Rufner. He was my roommate in college. He was my roommate after college. He lived with my wife and me, lived with our kids. I don't think there's anybody in this world who I'm close to in this profession than Caleb, and he's going to do an elite job with our offensive line as he's done. Coach Vincent Jeffries, he's our receivers coach. He's coming to us from Florida A&M. He's getting used to Ohio. He's getting used to the cold, and he's been an asset to our program very quickly. Something funny just about Coach Jeff is when Coach Ekins told the staff on Tuesday that he was taking the job with the Cardinals, Coach Jeff's U-Haul was already packed and he was already on his way up here, right? So I told him, just hang on for a few days. I think this thing's going to sort itself out quickly, right? But, man, Coach Jeff got up here. The second I called him and told him I accepted the job, I told him he was our receivers coach, and he was here within, 12 hours or so, right? So Coach Jeff's been awesome. Coach Terrell Boldice, he's our tight ends coach. He's our running backs coach. He's also our run game coordinator. Different than Coach Jeff. Coach Tay had been working for 3 days, and then Coach Ekins told the staff he was leaving. So he'd already signed his lease. He'd already moved in. Coach Tay was locked in regardless. And so for him, right, to have full trust in me for only seeing, really knowing me for 3 days, and then to see the job he's done thus far, man, he's an elite football coach, right? He's come to us from the University of Kansas. Zach Trevino, he's our quarterbacks coach. He's got big shoes to fill. He's got big shoes to fill. That was a joke, everybody. Okay. Zach's coming to us from Northern Illinois. He is a young and rising star. Man, we're excited to have him groom our quarterbacks. Coach Randy Wright, he's been here with us since the jump. He's been a crucial piece to our success, right? He's produced elite defensive linemen, right? He will continue to do that at a high level. And to be honest with you, there's a position group so far that has played well during spring. It's been our defensive line, which we all know if we have a dominant defensive line, we're going to go win a lot of games, fellas, right? Jax Hudson, he's our defensive GA and assistant DB's coach. He's originally from Perrysburg, and then he's coming to us out from Cali. So he's somewhat used to the cold, but he's going to get used to it again. And then Connor Cracchiolo Evans, he's our offensive GA and assistant offensive line coach. He played for us at Saginaw Valley. He's been here since January. He got here the day the portal opened, so he was thrown right into the fire right away, and he was my right-hand man when Coach Roof's son was born. So Coach Crack's done a great job. And then the most important coach on staff, our director of football strength, is Zane Cox. He's by far our players' favorite coach, and he's someone that they spend 95% of their time with. But Zane has done an elite job, not just with the strength and conditioning, but also with the community, right? Engaging in the community, making sure our players recognize quickly that this is not just about them, right? But how can we serve other people? So I appreciate every single one of you guys. man, you guys are going to make this thing run, right? You guys are going to make this thing run. And I think it's important for every single person in here to see that these guys are not only elite football coaches, right, but they're elite human beings. They're elite husbands. They're elite fathers, right? They are the men that I want to mentor our football team and the guys that I want them to develop our players into the best people possible. So this is our staff. Appreciate every single one of you guys. You know, with our staff, obviously, there's some families in here, and I think it's important to recognize and thank them as well, right? I know Jordan and Emma are in here, right, with their 2 sons, but it's important to recognize that they sacrifice a lot, right? You guys sacrifice a lot. To be honest with you, I probably spend more time with your husbands than you guys get to, right? And I appreciate your guys' ability to allow us to do that because it is a very selfless act knowing that they are doing something greater than themselves. And for you guys to be able to sacrifice your time with your husbands is awesome, right? And we are very appreciative of it, and we're very, very thankful for you guys. Okay, I'm going to try not cry here, but lastly, my family. Hold on, we bring the kids up. I know Navy's in the back. Dave, will you bring Navy up here? Yeah. My daughter rules the roost here, so this is about par for the course for us. You know, I'm excited to introduce them. You know, me and my wife have been together since middle school, which is kind of crazy to say. We've been married for 6 years, and, you know, we have 2 beautiful children, and my son, Tufton, he's 3, and then my daughter, Navy, like I said, I'm going to have my hands full with her. She is 1. Hi, baby. But, man, I am beyond grateful for them, right? My wife allows me to pursue my dream every single day. The sacrifices she makes on a daily basis, and then just with her life in general, right? A lot of people don't know this. She was in the middle of medical school. She wanted to be a doctor, and we figured out very quickly that this whole doctor and football coaching thing is not going to work out. And so we sat there and we decided that, you know, this is the calling that God has placed on my heart and in my life. And we decided right then and there that she was going to drop out, and we were going to start a family. We were going to try this coaching thing out and see where it took us. And, man, God has been faithful through every step. And I am beyond thankful for you guys and you guys allowing me to pursue my dream. So, man, I love you guys. Okay, so I'm going to be very quick here, but I just want to give a rundown kind of my vision moving forward for the program, right, and kind of our culture blueprint, right? And I think it's important for every single person in this room to understand we are a process-driven program, right? And I think you hear that a lot, and it's a great buzzword, but that could not be more true for the men sitting up front and for our players in the back to understand that it is about doing things the right way. It's not about sitting there focusing on the result, right? So we have a very clear belief that leads to our process that then will drive the desired result that we are trying to get, right? And so for us to understand that the belief piece, right, is us standing on our convictions, right? And a conviction to us is just a very clear, conscious belief of what we want this process to look like. Our process is dictated solely by our belief and the conviction within that belief, right? And what we want is those standards that we want to believe in will become our daily habits once we understand that we can attack those every single day within our process, right? And then our process allows, right, the results that we want to be what we want, right? We have to trust and have full confidence in our process and understand that that process itself is going to get the desired outcome that we want, but understanding that we're never going to waver from the process, right? Like, we live in the process, right? There's no escaping the process. And if we want to go do the things we want to do and accomplish the goals and dreams that we want as a program, then we got to understand that it's about attacking every single day with a process mindset. Okay, and for us, this will be the separator, right? This is going to be the separator between average programs and elite programs, right? It's that ability to focus in on the process every single day and live in the mundane, right? We lean into the mundane. Okay, our 3 core values, we're going to be disciplined, detailed, and dangerous in everything that we do, right? Being disciplined for us, okay, is choosing our standard over our circumstance, regardless of how we feel, right? Regardless of the things going on in our lives, we will choose our standard every single time. And if we can choose hard more times than not, we're going to be in a really good position. Okay, being detailed for us, elite is in the detail, right? Being elite is in the detail and understanding my job, not just what my job is, but why I'm doing what I'm doing. What is the intent behind what I am doing? And then finally, we're going to be dangerous, right? We're going to attack everything we do with unwavering belief and trust. Unwavering trust in our teammates, unwavering trust in our staff, and unwavering trust in this program. And if we can understand those three things and know that it's a clear progression going from being disciplined, being detailed, and then being dangerous, we're going to go be really special, right? And not just on the field, right? This applies to every area of your life, right? It applies to your relationships once you graduate. It applies to your academics. It applies to earning your degree. It applies to one day when you have the opportunity to be a husband and a father, right? Being disciplined and choosing hard every single time will lead you to a great life, not just on the field, but outside the field as well. Okay, I've been blessed to learn from some great coaches, right? I've been blessed to learn from some great men, right? And to be honest with you, my foundation really was laid as a coach at Indiana Wesleyan, which is where I met Coach Ekins, I met Coach Rufner, and then there's some other guys that I met there that really laid the foundation for me as to what it looks like to not only be an elite football coach, but to be an elite human being beyond that. And understand that is the most important piece to being a great coach. Okay, so I can promise our players a few things. One, we're going to work to create deep and meaningful relationships with each and every one of you, right? And I think this was an important piece as we went through the process, understanding the continuity, right, for your guys' sake, knowing that we're going to keep this thing together as much as we can, right? And knowing that it's important for you guys to feel that relationship piece every single day, right? Because ultimately we know on Saturdays, right, you can very quickly fall on yourself. But the second you got a guy to the right and a guy to the left believing in you and trusting in you, you're not going to quit, right? Because it's more than yourself. Okay. We're going to take extreme ownership as a staff and accountability for our players' ability to learn and retain information. Okay. This isn't just for football again, right? This applies to all areas of our life. Okay. And we have a saying, and hopefully these guys aren't sleeping on me yet, but if it's simple, it's critical, right? And what that means for us is when something is important and it's critical, we as a staff have to be able to communicate it in a simple and effective manner so that they can go and apply it and execute it at a high clip, right? Like I said, we want to be committed to our process. Okay, we care more about how we do things than what the result looks like. And we have full confidence in our ability, right, within our process to get the results that we want. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to seek perfection and settle for excellence. Okay, we're going to set standards that are consistent and challenging, right? No one grows in a comfortable situation, right? You only grow in discomfort and with pressure. And we will constantly apply that to our players and to our staff so that they can develop into the right football players, yes, but more importantly, into the men that they are called to be, right? And that only occurs through hard times. That only occurs, right, when there is pressure applied in your life. And we will apply pressure every single day, okay? Not from a negative sense, but from a sense of we love you guys so much that we're going to make sure that you guys grow and leave this place better for it. On Saturdays, okay, I think this is an important piece, right? On Saturdays or on game days, right, the product you're going to see, okay, you're going to see a team that's aligned. You're going to see a team that has belief in every phase of the game, right? We will win football games as a cohesive unit, not as three separate entities, right? Offensively, defensively, and with special teams, we will win football games together playing complementary football, right? The days of it just being offense versus defense versus special teams are no longer. You have to win games as a whole program. And we have to understand how we're going to win the game specifically within each phase. But each phase has to then know how the other phase is going to win. And we have to understand that as we move forward. Offensively, we're going to be efficient and we're going to be explosive. Right? Those are two things I can promise you who we're going to continue to be offensively. Right? We want to present complex pictures, but be able to teach them and execute them simply. Right? How complex can we look for the defense? Defensively, we're going to be sound and violent. Right? We will be sound, we will be assignment sound, and we will be violent at the point of attack. Okay, we're going to eliminate explosives by having the correct leverage, and then we're going to have a huge emphasis on takeaways, right? Turnovers will win us the football game. Turnover differential will win football games for us, and that will be a big point of emphasis as it has been since we've started 3 weeks ago. And then lastly, special teams is going to be our winning edge, okay? And this is just not for our backups. This is a holistic program buy-in. Our starters will be on special teams. Our players know this. We value special teams. We spend 30 minutes on special teams every single day in practice. In an hour and 40-minute practice, we're going to spend 30 minutes of it on special teams. And that's because we're going to play harder and we're going to be more disciplined in that phase of the game than every opponent that we play. And that will be the difference on how we win and lose football games. Okay, and then the last piece of this, right, our player experience. Okay, this program has been and always will be about you guys. Every decision we make as a staff will be reflected upon what is your guys' best interest. Every decision we make. Right, this is about you guys. This is a player-centric program. Okay, everything we do will revolve around you. Okay, and I can promise you two things, right? One, deep and meaningful relationships, and two, growth in every area of your life. Okay, people will drive your experience. People will drive your experience. Bobby just talked about it, right? Whipping his buddies in the butt in the locker room. Like, that's the stuff that you're going to remember. That's the stuff that's going to make or break this experience for you. I can't even remember half of our scores from last season, right? You guys probably can't even sit here and remember 2 of our scores from last season. That is not what matters. What matters is the relationships you create over your 4 or 5 years here. That's the difference. And that's why we're going to be successful here. And the last piece is growth in every area of your life. Okay, mentally, you will earn a degree from Tiffin, right? We will make sure, specifically with the climate currently in college football, my goal is for every single person that is one in this room and a part of our program that degree will be earned from Tiffin University. Nowhere else. Okay, nowhere else. And the value that you will see from the people that you surround yourself with will be the difference why. Okay, physically, we are going to win. 7-4, 8-3 is not the standard. And we all know that in this room. We're going to win championships here, right? Have we talked one time about championships so far, fellas? Not a single time, because it's about the what? The process. It's about doing it the right way. It's not about talking about GMAX. It's not about talking about going and winning natties. It's about doing the things daily, having those habits daily that will get us there eventually, right? It's April 8th. We're not winning a national championship today, but you better have national championship habits. Socially, okay, you're going to learn to become a productive and purposeful student, teammate, friend, husband, father, and worker, okay? I promise you, by the time it's all said and done, you will be a better man when you leave this place, right? That is what God has placed on my heart, and that is what it will be no matter when, okay, no matter when. And then spiritually, right, you will be developed in your character, okay? I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about you seeing the best version of yourself. How can we help you get there? How can we help you become the best man possible at the time you leave this place? That is my goal. That is our staff's goal. That will always be the goal. Okay, winning is secondary to me in that regard, right? You guys leaving this place better men and making this world a better place is the most important thing in my mind. That is why I got into college coaching. Yes, I love X's and O's. Yes, I love sitting here saying stay dangerous. But ultimately, the thing that matters is you guys leave this place and you make this world a better place. Okay? In closing, right, I cannot wait to continue to build on the things we've done since I've taken over. I think it's been about 8 weeks. Okay, but I can't wait to continue to build on the things that we've done. Okay, we're going to be disciplined in our approach. We're going to be detailed in our preparation, and we're going to be dangerous in everything that we do. Every piece of this program will be those 3 things. Okay, our process is clear, and we're going to attack it with unwavering trust every day. Every single day. We're going to stick to the process. We're not going to waver from that process, and we're going to trust that process is going to get us the results that we want. The best days of Tiffin football are ahead. I can't wait to lead this group. I can't wait to lead this staff. I can't wait to get to work. Let's stay dangerous and go Gons.
So before I'll let Zach have the microphone. I've done enough football games for Tiffin University, 160 as a matter of fact. So we're going to talk a little bit about Zach. Let you guys get to know him a little bit. And then if anybody has any other questions that they would like to ask him afterwards, we'll go ahead and take care of that. So 2-year assistant with Tiffin University. Let's talk about your first time you came to Tiffin, what you thought about the community. Because you mentioned it when you were talking towards the mayor here about how the community has become special to you. And as a young man, young family, young head coach, how important is it to be in a community like this to get you first really get you going?
Yeah, I think it's surrounding yourself with the best people possible, right? I think that is the goal for me. That's what we did when we built our staff. And as I've got to know Tiffin more and more within the town, it's filled with great people, right? This place is special because of the people. Yes, it is a beautiful place to live, right? And I love living in Tiffin, Ohio, but the reason for that is because of the people, right? And that is crucial, specifically with our players, know that they're in a very safe place, and they don't have to walk out the streets at night and know that they could be in danger, right? But I also think for my 3-year-old, my 1-year-old, knowing that my wife can go anywhere in town and we're good, right? She's okay to take them to Hedges Boyer, right? Which I know is underwater right now, and she's itching to get out there. But it's been a beautiful place, and we've loved living here every second.
Well, prior to you coming to Tiffin University, you worked, as you said, with Coach Atkins at Saginaw Valley State. You were at Indiana Wesleyan, where you were a graduate in 2019, a 2-time captain of your football team. Talk a little bit about why this can relate to our young men who are playing for us now. How important it was for you to enjoy your time where you were, and how much it meant to you that you wanted to stick around a little bit while afterwards.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we were talking about with people matter, right? People drive your experience, right? There's a reason that Coach Rufer and me have been together now for the last 6 seasons of coaching college football together, right? It's because we have a deep, meaningful connection, and we value that connection more than, you know, chasing logos or chasing numbers or chasing money. Or like, that's the stuff that matters. And I got to work with probably 6 or 7 of the guys that I got to play with on 6, 7. There you go. Okay. I've got to work with those guys. Okay. On a you know, at different institutions. And that's been special. And that will continue to be a brand that we have, right? We want to bring in great people that we have prior relationships with and that we can continue to groom and grow.
He threw 37 touchdown passes in his career. And the Dragon list, I've been 5th all time here. I don't know where it was in Wesleyan, but you've been 5th here.
Well, I was the only quarterback at that point in school history. So I think
There you go.
I was first and last, you know.
High school football player at Tip City, Tippecanoe. Anybody who's ever called a high school football game who said that was always going to remember. It's one of the funnest ones to say. And you said you were familiar with Tiffin a little bit back then, you know, probably Tiffin Columbia and Tiffin Calvert high schools. Talk a little bit about your experience in high school and what you were looking for in a college when you left high school and started looking for a place to play.
Yeah, so I had a unique recruiting experience. You know, I had opportunities to go play baseball or football, and ultimately I knew I wanted to coach college football, right? And so that led me to walking on at Ball State. But the thing that I learned the most, right, during my time in a small town Ohio is you know, discipline drives winning, right? By no means were we the most talented. By no means did we have 5-star recruits coming out of our high school, but we were locked into doing things the right way, and we had a group of men all moving in the same direction, and that allowed us to go win a lot of football games. By no means were we overly talented, right? But we bought into doing things the right way. We had a clear process. We had a clear game plan every week to how we were going to win, and that's why we were successful.
He mentioned the recruiting process. I happened upon his recruit page when he was a high school kid, and I copied a couple quotes from him I want to read back to him. So let's start here. It says, "Since a little boy, my dream has always been to play football at the next level." Is that true? When you were a little boy, football was just in your blood, huh?
Yeah, this is a funny story, but I was in kindergarten, and I was getting ready for school, and my parents weren't down yet. I had already gotten ready, and I was down on the couch watching ESPN Classic reruns from the 1980s of football. And I've been obsessed from the beginning. I played sports my whole life, and I knew that sports were going to be a part of the calling that God had on my life. And man, to be standing up here as a head football coach at a school like Tiffin is a dream.
Next one here. I am a natural leader on and off the field and a positive encourager and role model to all by the way I live my life. Sounds like a guy who wanted to be a head coach even back when he was in high school.
Yeah, I just wanted to influence people in the right direction. I think that was, again, like I said, it's a calling that I've had on my heart since I was a little boy. Is yes, I think it's important to go execute and to go win and have a great career, but ultimately the ability to influence people in the right direction and the ability to move people to going from point A to point B was something that I saw a lot of value in and something that I wanted to continue to do once I graduated high school.
Last one. I won't do any more for you, but last one. I feel I can make a positive difference in any situation I am put into, and I will work as hard as I need to work to be successful for my team. It says a lot about being a high school quarterback, college quarterback, and now eventually a head coach of young men.
Yeah, I think part of that is just knowing that I had a dream. I wanted to coach, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy, right? And I'm not by any means a man of tall stature, right? So even as I was getting recruited, it was tough. Right, it was tough. I'm sitting here at 5'9". They're like, "Well, you're probably way too short." And not that I ever let that affect me, but I always knew that I was going to outwork people, right? And still today, we're going to win games because our staff and our players are going to outwork people, right? And we're going to take on that persona every single day.
I always mentioned not as high, but if you saw him in the dodgeball game, he was firing fastballs as much as anybody and everybody at that. So
I'm still sore from that.
I bet you are. And the last thing I wrote down is something that you've been saying all afternoon: disciplined, detailed, and dangerous.
Right. That's who we're going to be as a program. Right. That's the promise I can give every single person in this room and on this campus is those 3 things will remain true, regardless of the players that we have or the coaches that we have. We're going to be the most disciplined, detailed, and dangerous team in the GMAC and in the country.
Well, I'd like to open up to the floor if anybody has anything they would like to ask our new head football coach, Zack Blair. Anyone? He's probably relieved that there's no hands coming up right now, but if not,
for our guys in the back to ask something dumb.
They save it for the locker room, I guess.
That's good.
Well, with that note, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the new head coach at Tiffin University football, Zack Blair. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. Again, thank everybody who came out, our local dignitaries from Tiffin, our students, our coaches, our faculty, our staff, everyone. Appreciate you making time for Tiffin University out of your day. I know everybody's busy, and just the fact that you made TU part of what you're doing today, that means the world to us. And thank you all so very much. The fall schedule is out there hanging up. Take a look at it. It's going to be a fun ride. Not 11. We're going for more than that, right, Coach? Thank you all so very much for joining us today. And as each and every single day, it's a great day to be a Dragon. Thank you. Okay. Yep. I know. Yep. Off to lacrosse a little bit. You good?